Hey guys, we can now finally get our hands on the 2042 beta. Well, there's not a ton of content, you really get a chance to try out all of the new things in the game. So today, I'm going to be going over the most important gameplay features, UI elements, settings to change, and controls. All of this to make your experience better and pick up the game quicker. You can look at the timestamps below to skip ahead to what you're most interested in. If you enjoyed the video, then make sure to leave a like, and if you want to see more 2042 videos in the future, then make sure to subscribe. But now, getting into the video. Once you've loaded up and found a match, you have 4 different specialists to choose from. Each specialist obviously looks different, but the main difference between each of them is their special ability. This is something unique that can be used to help out your gameplay. The 4 available ones are the grappling hook, medical syringe, turret, and recon drone. For everything else, it doesn't matter who you pick. Once you are in the deploy menu, you can change your main firearm, your secondary, a throwable, and a gadget. If you don't want to individually pick those out, then you can get one of the default loadouts suited for different playstyles. This game also comes with a bunch of new features that really improve the gameplay, but there are also features missing from Battlefield 5. But this is the one section you'll have to take a little lighter since any of these features could be easily changed between now and the final game. First off, there's the new Plus system. This, as you probably heard about, lets you change your weapons attachments on the go. This includes ammo types, sights, grips, and barrels. Gunfights can now become easier when you have the exact scope, ammo types, and grip you want for your playstyle. One thing that may be a bug currently is that when you switch your ammo, you get a full case of ammo again, meaning if you've run out of ammo, you can just switch the type of ammo and you will be at full ammo again. Now, this can give you a really big advantage as it's much harder to run out of ammo, which is something that is very easy to do in this game, since you no longer have ammo stations and you can no longer pick off ammo from your teammates. Also, when you change your barrel, you can change it to a suppressor, meaning it stays a lot more quiet and will hide you from the enemy's minimap. Once an enemy starts firing their unsuppressed weapon, you can see them on the minimap, which is of course very useful to you. It's constantly saving my life since I know where enemies are around me. But one thing you can't do with the map in the beta is make it big. I find this quite annoying as it makes it much harder to see who is controlling what objectives, and it now becomes a lot harder to see where you're going. But on the EA website where it says the Battlefield controls, it includes this feature as something you can do, so hopefully you will be able to use this in the final game. There's also now the call-in system. That means that any times you can call in a vehicle as long as there are ones available. This is extremely useful since sometimes I would find myself in the middle of nowhere with no enemies around me. So now instead of running around for multiple minutes, you can now call in a car and be on your way to the perfect position. You can even call in a tank when they're available. One thing that is kept from Battlefield 5 is the squad revive. So that means at any time you can revive your squad mates. Now I also want to go over what was not kept, mainly because I really liked all of these things. A major thing for me is that there are no longer squad reinforcements. I really like the fact that you could call in a special tank or a barrage and help your team out. Now this one I don't miss too much, but you don't have the same spawn on screen where you saw your teammates' view that used to be there. Now it's just back to spawning from the map overview that was in all the previous games. Grenades are also a bit different now. So before they had a long fuse time and you could throw them back, but now the fuse time is much shorter so there's no need to throw it back. Now, to help you out, I want to go over some of the most important controls, so you're not lost when you first load up. I'll tell you the buttons for consoles, then on screen I'll show the PC equivalent. So you're going to be holding down the options button to load up the leaderboard along with your stats. To pull up the plus system, you need to use L1 or LB, then to switch through all of the different options, you use X, O, triangle, or square buttons, and the A, B, Y, or X buttons. To use the call-in system, you need to press L1 plus R1 or LB plus RB, and you'll be able to call in the vehicles that pop up. In order to tactical sprint, which if you don't know is a way to sprint faster, you double tap the sprint button. To slide, you just need to tap O or B, and that button is also crouch when you're not sprinting. Then you hold down that button to prone. When in a vehicle, you can use X or A to switch from first to third person. When you're falling, you can also use X or A to activate your parachute. To give yourself extra mobility when parachuting, you can press L3. The final part of this video is going to be an overview of all the settings you should change, pretty much immediately when you first hop in. Now there are a decent amount of settings at the moment that you can't change, but the essentials are still there. In the General tab, the first setting you can change is Invert Look. For me, I like to turn off invert for aircraft because simply it's easier to fly it when the invert is off. Then you can also turn off cosplay if you're sick of losing to PC players. In the display tab, you should definitely turn up your field of view as the extra vision is really helpful. Then you can actually also turn up the vehicle FOV if you want to there. In the sound tab, you should also change your audio mix for whatever speakers you use as it makes the sound a lot better. In the graphics tab, what I would also recommend turning down is the motion blur, since it makes it much easier to see people when you turn. You can also turn off some of the other settings for better visibility, but less cinematic effects. Finally, there is the controller tab, where I recommend turning up your sensitivity. It makes it a bit harder to aim, but it makes movement much easier. But that is all for this video. Hopefully it helped you out a lot. If there are any other topics you want me to go over, then go ahead and leave a comment on it. But I'll see you next time. Bye.